Hello, my name is Martin Sage, and I want to welcome you to the Coach Me If You Can Toolkit, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that as a coach, whether you're an amateur coach or a professional coach, that you're willing to take the time to look at what you don't know and to explore completely new territory. See, every one of us, all of us, if we're in the people business, we know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. We're not even aware that there's this whole other field of information out there, and that in order to explore that, we've got to look bad. We've got to look like a fool. We've got to find our limitations and then see what's beyond there. And I've spent the last, since I was age 25, until now, 55, so the last 30 years, really making a fool of myself by going around and finding people who had vast awareness in areas that were completely unfamiliar to me. So I tracked down people like Harry Hermon, whose grasp of life was just massive compared to my village mentality, when I was 25. Kubler-Ross, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a great soul, a great human being whose awareness of the human psyche, the human soul, the human spirit was like nothing I had ever encountered. And in every case, I came in as the young fool. And in every case, I was humiliated, I was shocked, I was amazed, and I was humbled, finally, that there's just this vast fields of information that I don't know. Meeting Moshe Feldenkrais in Dallas and Jerry Karzan, who became really my mentor in the learning process, was a shock to me. You say, well, I spent all these years learning. I did my master's degree, my bachelor's degree. I did all my doctoral coursework. And then to step into the field of somebody who knows so much in a certain field and has such a great curiosity, not only knowledge, but in the case of, for example, Moshe Feldenkrais, a great curiosity about human beings. And then in each case, realizing the limitations of what I know, of my skills, and of what I can do. And I know what it takes, to step up and face into the abyss and look at what you don't know. And this kit is all about that. It's not about only knowledge and skills, but it's also about the unknown and even about the unknowable, the things you can really never grasp. So I know it takes a lot of courage to do this, and I know that it takes a lot of compassion on your part, and I know that you're here, and I know that you're looking at this and you're going to study this for a long period of time, as there's a lot of information and there's a lot of experiences built into this kit. And I know that you're willing to go through that because of your compassion for the people that you work with. Nobody becomes a coach to get rich, I'll tell you that. It's a hard profession. Every encounter, not only are we in that session, are we in front of that team transforming people. We're not outside doing an experiment on somebody. We're in it. We're living through it with our team. We're living through it with our players. And we are transformed every time we coach. We're working with people in the thing that they love to do. We're finding their talents. There is a lot of confusion about this. There's still a lot of people who don't really understand that there's a difference between a therapist and a coach, or a consultant and a coach. We have to do with the games of life. We have to do with performance. We have to do with high performance. So as a coach, when you show up, the players light up. Wow, there's the coach. They're talking, they're having their life, and you step into the room and it's like, okay, there's that attentiveness. There's that vitality. They listen, they go deep into you, you go deep into them. You go through this transformation together. It's the greatest the greatest theater on earth. I mean, there's nothing like the game, you know. There's nothing like taking what you do for a living and playing it as the game. And that's what you do as a coach. You know, you walk into somebody's life, they say, well, I'm running my company, and I'm raising my family, I have my social life, I go to my kids' soccer games, or I coach a Little League team, or I'm a professional coach, you know. And when you step onto the field in that role as a coach, and it's a role that you play, and when you step into that role, something enters that room, and that thing is called charisma, and that thing is called chi. And charisma isn't like being a cheerleader and motivational training and those kind of, it's all well and good. You know, the cheerleaders are important. You know, and the jumping around is important, and getting the audience fired up. It's all good stuff. But it's not the job of the coach. You don't see the coach out there with the pom-poms, right? You see the coach out there with a serious fun on his face. And when he steps in that room and you show up to play, all your worries go away. All the problems melt out the door. That's you. See, that's your job. You step in the room and there's this sort of deadly seriousness, and at the same time there's this sense of great joy that the game is about to engage. And something's going to come out of me that's bigger than me. Now, the great thing is, even though coaching is about the game, it's about aliveness, it's about play. What's interesting is, when you play hard, when you play well, when your game is working, it begins to create benefits that wash back in to the quote, the real world, you know. So if you're a good athlete, or you're a good player, or you're a good salesman, you're a good coach, and you're helping people play the game better, generally they make more points. Generally the points transmit into more money. You get better paid for what you do. You have a better life, you have less conflict, you have more excitement. When you have that excitement, you take it, it's interesting, you take it home with you. See, so here's the world of worry, here's the world of play. And all of a sudden this world begins to expand a little bit into that world, because now you've got money you didn't have before. Now you've got pleasure you didn't have before. And now the bright sunlight of the game, of the participation, begins to wash deeper and deeper and deeper until it begins to dissolve the world of the worries. Now they're not going to go away completely. We're human beings. You know, we're subject to the second law of thermodynamics. You know, we're gonna grow up, we're gonna get old, we're gonna die, we're gonna have problems, we're gonna have diseases. We're not gonna get rid of that world. That's there. That's reality. You know, a lot of people say, well, what you're doing is not serious. I hear that criticism a lot. You know, it's not serious. Well, you know, that's the point, isn't it? This is not serious. This is a game. This is only play. But what's interesting is it encroaches into that serious world, and it brings light into it. It really makes life better in a lot of ways. Now, you still have to be realistic. You still have to be serious. There is still that part of life that you're going to have to deal with. What coaching is there to do, and what play and what gamesmanship is there to do, is to develop that side of you, that light side of you, that you can take it into that other world. A caterpillar crawling around on the ground, he has no idea what he's going to become. You know, all he knows is he's got to go into that cocoon, he's got to wrap himself up, and he's got to go into his sleep. He's got to die. You know. And then, lo and behold, one day he wakes up and he's got these wings, and he's got this new mobility, he's got this other life to live, this completely other life. Well, as people, we make that metamorphosis, we make that transformation every time we step into the game. See, and as a coach, you don't just put people in that cocoon, you go in there with them. You go through the transformation with them. Now that takes enormous courage. You know, there's a great